show is brought to you by Aces Bail Bonds, Miranda and Sons Automotive, Bridgeport Auto Glass, Ramirez Spanish Restaurant, Tito's Barber Shop, JC Tire Center, Rancho Pantanal Brazilian Steakhouse, and Luz de Paz Funeral Home.
Walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight.
Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome to the Super Elite Entertainment Studio. First of all, I want to apologize, man, because we ran into some technical difficulties, and I'm sorry that we're starting off the show late tonight. But we're here, we're live, we're ready to go, and I'm going to ask all of you that are watching to please click that button and share this interview onto your timeline. I mean, I believe that we experienced some technical difficulties tonight because, I think this is going to be a really good episode. And I believe that there's something that needs to be said, something that needs to be heard. And with that said, I'm just going to kindly ask each and every one of you that are viewing right now, that are watching it, please click that share button and share this interview onto your timeline. Man, we're excited to be back here in the Super Elite Entertainment Studio, broadcasting live here on Facebook. And we do this for you, the people that are watching. We do this for you, just to give you some inspiration, some hope. And our goal and motivation here is to try to bring you the best possible interviews that we can bring to you guys. And again, with that said, I'm excited, man. I'm excited to have our special guest tonight who's in the studio with us. Listen, this dude is an amazing person. Not only is he an amazing person, but he speaks 5 languages. I think that's pretty amazing, right? Yeah, I would agree. But listen, tonight we have in the studio a really good friend of mine, and he is the Assistant Chief Administrator Officer for the City of Bridgeport. In the studio tonight, Mr. John Gomes. What's up, John?
What up, Senor J? Thank you very much for having me.
Hey, John, listen, man, we ran into some technical difficulties tonight.
None of my fault.
But you know what? I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna blame you. It was your fault.
Yeah.
Why not?
Right.
They blame you for everything else.
I'll take the heat. It's all right.
All right. So John, first of all, I want to thank you for coming into the studio for this interview.
I truly appreciate it, and congratulations on what you're doing. It's a motivation for all of us who came up together. So again, congratulations, and I'm looking forward to being part of your future endeavor. And I'm sure it's going to be a lot of success.
Excellent. Thank you. And I truly appreciate that, and I accept those words wholeheartedly. And I just want to thank you once again for coming into the studio for this interview, man. And the thing I like about you was that when I contacted you and offered you the invitation, you didn't even hesitate. You said, "Let's go.
Let's do this." Hey, let's do this.
Yeah. So, with that said, man, we're just going to jump right into it. And, what we want to talk about tonight is, and the goal for the show is always to bring hope and inspiration and encouragement to the people that are watching. Right. And there's a lot of people out there watching, and especially you as an individual growing up in the city of Bridgeport. You have an amazing, powerful story. And you have so much insight to offer individuals, especially someone who eventually at some point in their life wants to open up a business. Someone that maybe wants to eventually work in City Hall. Someone that wants to get their degree, as you have, in business management. You have a master's degree in
international business.
International business. So there's a lot of people who have inspirations and dreams and hopes out there that are watching tonight, and that's why I felt the desire to bring you into the studio for this interview so that you can share your point of view, your ideas on what's the best step to go about accomplishing your goals.
Well, I think to begin, family is the most important because it is the foundation that gives you that level of motivation to continue to succeed. For many of those viewers and people who know me, know that I'm from Cape Verde Island. At the age of 11, both without my mother and father, I traveled here to the United States, and like many immigrants, we are searching for the American dream.
Yes.
We come for a better life, leaving behind the culture, the people we know, with that aspiration to succeed. At that time, although the immigration laws were a little more flexible, I came without any papers, so I overstayed my visa, and I really had some good help from people from the International Institute of Connecticut, which helped me through the immigration process. I attended the school system here in Bridgeport. Starting at Columbus School, went on to Blackham, Central High School, and then on to the University of Connecticut. But I think in all of that, it was Bridgeport and the people, the Cape Verdean community who really supported me and kind of pushed me in the right direction. And to this day, I'm truly, truly honored and grateful for the city and for the people. And from there, opportunities open up in college. You finish at the University of Connecticut with your undergrad at UConn. Undergrad in marketing, went on to Nestle. And I was blessed to have the opportunity to come back to Bridgeport, not only to invest in Bridgeport, but also to get politically involved. And today I sit next to Mayor Ganem in helping make some decisions to change the direction of Bridgeport, not only from a social perspective, educational perspective, but also economically. And that impacts all of our lives, because for me, my kids are now in the school system. Some have graduated and went on. So anything we could do positive to uplift our people, our community, I'm truly honored to be part of it, just as I'm here part of the show that you're having and the success that we could share with our people. Because as you say, it's about uplifting. And the American dream is about that.
Absolutely.
And just go out and get it.
One of the things I respect about you is that I've known you for many years. I've known you from back in the day when John really didn't have much going on for himself.
No.
In comparison to what you have going on for yourself right now. And you've had some great accomplishments. Coming up in, let's keep it real, coming up in the hood,
Hollow.
in the hollow, city of Bridgeport.
Manigo Park.
But the thing that I admire about you so much is that you always had a dream. You always had a passion. You always wanted something better or bigger than what was surrounding you during those earlier days in your life. And my question is, what I want to talk to you, what I want to talk about right now is passion, your passion. Where does your passion come from in order to get to where you are now? I mean, what were the influences that influenced your life to be where you are today?
I think when you grow up in a place where you see there's opportunity, and yet you left your family members behind because of the opportunity, you do whatever you can to make sure you maximize on that opportunity. And I was fortunate enough through the Bridgeport educational system to go through it. I had a great guidance counselor, Mr. Shepard, who unfortunately has passed away. He served as a model for me to influence me to continue on to higher education. At the same time, when you look at culturally within the Cape Verdean community, and I was raised, I say I have three mothers, and the women influence is very strong because it's almost like they have an instinct, the good way, the bad way, and they push you, they motivate you, and they guide you. And I had the older lady who did so. Her name was Jajadi, Cape Verdean lady. And but the passion's within you. I think culturally, many of us have that passion, that drive, and it's all about succeeding. And just keep going.
So, throughout the course of your life, I'm sure that you have dealt with a lot of frustrations, a lot of discouragement, a lot of negativity, people probably not even believing in you. I mean, How did you deal with that coming up?
Well, I think it's about believing in yourself. I think ignorance sometimes is a blessing because you set a goal and you go and get it. You really don't look at the obstacle ahead of you. And if you have a strong foundation and people around you that support you, you just keep going. But no matter how difficult it is, when you fall, get up. There's a poem calling Victus, out of the night that covers me. Black as a pit, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. Mandela repeated that over 25 years in jail, and that's, I think, one of the crush as far as me pledging my fraternity and everything keeps you motivated, keeps you looking forward. So I don't look at what I can't do, I look at what I can do, and I just focus and keep going regardless.
Yes. So a few years ago, you ran for mayor in the city of Bridgeport. Even that in itself, I believe, is a big accomplishment because, you know, like I said, and I keep making reference to it, where we come from, the influences that was around us, the things that we would see on a day-to-day basis growing up in the city of Bridgeport weren't always great. And I don't want to, badmouth Bridgeport because we're both from Bridgeport, and Bridgeport's a great city. But when we were coming up throughout those earlier years, things weren't as great. So you could have fallen by the wayside. You could have been a statistic. You could have gotten caught up in all the nonsense that was going on out in those streets. But you had a bigger dream to where led you to the opportunity to run for mayor. I mean, how does that make you feel?
I mean, honestly, I don't stop and evaluate what I have done. As I said, at that moment, at that time, it's something that I felt I could do because I felt I could change things, and I grasped the opportunity. I went forward with it. Yes, to many of us, when you sit back and you look at man, you came from the Hollow, from Nanago Park to hanging at Seaside Park, and with some of the fellas, and you keep pushing forward. But all I'm trying to do is just show that the possibilities are endless, and whatever you can achieve, just go, do your thing.
Excellent, John. So, for an individual out there who has a desire to advance themselves, a desire to succeed, what does that individual have to be willing to give up in their life in order to be accomplished?
Yeah. I think everything you do is a matter of choices and consequences. And based on the mindset that you have and where you want to go, you really don't think of what you're giving up, but you look at what you're gaining. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the story, and that's where you have to aspire to be. I mean, if we look at what you're giving up, it's almost like you're looking at the negative side. It's a trade-off. Mm-hmm. You can't do one thing and end up with a different result. Mm-hmm. Whatever you choose in the path you choose, at the end of the day, whether it's a positive impact or a negative impact. And it's the decision you have to make. And also there's the opportunity. It's the vehicles, whether it's academic, it's financial, it's the environment you're in. So it's a selection process that you have to do as an adult, as a young kid, and also the infrastructure of the family around you have to kind of support and try to uplift you at the same time. So, when I look around me and I see the opportunity, I think that's what we have to focus on is, what are the opportunities that we have, mm-hmm. and how do we look at venues to seek those opportunities, mm-hmm. not necessarily what you're going to give up, because your ambition is success. Mm-hmm. It shouldn't be failure.
So let's talk about the importance of listening, having a listening ear. How important is it to listen and to be open to constructive criticism, right, in your endeavors towards success?
Well, Dale Carnegie, he said that the best conversation he ever had, he never said a word. What he did is he just listened. And I think also with time and experience, rationalization, emotion, you put that in check. So you understand what to choose and how to choose it. And in doing so, then your decision process becomes much more clearer, and you have a direction as to where you want to go. So I think a lot of it also comes with maturity. The person that I am today, I wasn't 10 years ago or 15 years ago. I think your experience in life will set you forward, but you have to look at that positive outlook as to where you want to go. So when you know, yeah, listening is the key to many things.
You've been very successful, a very successful entrepreneur, a business establisher.
Right. Well, I mean, success, I guess it's on how you look at it. You know, like I said, I think it's about opportunity. I was fortunate to get an opportunity to go and excel from an education perspective, come back, go to work in corporate America for a few, come back to my community and look at the opportunities and what's there that you could take advantage of. And, you know, it's, if your goals are there, it'll come. You just have to have patience. What God's meant for you, it's going to happen. Just, yeah.
So the important thing is that, you know, you had a dream, but the opportunity you see was there, and you leaped into it. You jumped into the opportunity. What I'm trying to say is the opportunities that you've had.
Right.
Would you say that you created those opportunities for yourself?
Oh, you have to. I mean, don't sit back and wait for it to come to you. I mean, obviously the opportunity presents itself, but you have to be prepared mentally. You have to be prepared emotionally, and you have to be prepared as someone who wants to go and get it. If you sit back and wait for it to come, the opportunity is not going to come. Opportunity presents itself, and you know you have to go for it. It's just like when I was in high school, no one came to my classes and brought me through the counselor or brought me to fill the application for college. I had to go and ask the question. I had to do my research, and then from there, financial aid and everything that followed. So, whatever you want to do, you could do. The path is there, but don't wait for it to come, because if you do, not gonna happen.
So basically, you have to be hungry.
Without a doubt, you gotta hustle. You have to be hungry, and you have to be motivated, and you cannot be led down by the negativity, because you will have negativities and you will have haters, and you can't get into that filter. You got to push that aside, focus, and move forward. As I said, Invictus, look up that poem.
You know, so I just, every time I think about you and I think about things that I've seen you do within the city of Bridgeport, your accomplishments, for example, you know, coming from where we come from, owning a Subway. I mean, that's a big accomplishment, man.
No,
you know, and then you jumped from the Subway to the Red Rooster. Red Rooster wasn't the greatest place at one time to go and get yourself a sandwich at, but you took it. You had a bigger dream. You had a bigger vision of what you wanted that establishment to be, and you transformed it and made it a landmark within the city of Bridgeport. So, you know, you went from Subway to the Red Rooster, and now you have a great responsibility, one of the biggest jobs in the city of Bridgeport. Right. Coming from where we come from, I mean, that's an accomplishment, man.
No, I mean, without a doubt, I'm gracious, I'm humble, and, you know, I thank God every day for the opportunity. Whereas you said, you know, you come from corporate America, you invest in a community where people might say, don't put your money in there, and then that goes well, and then you turn it into something else, and then other opportunities follow as to where I am today, which is the Assistant Chief Administrative Officer for the City of Bridgeport, where you operate pretty much, you're responsible for the daily operations of the city, where you act as a liaison as far as to the assignment of the mayor. And you have 19 departments with 41 sub-departments and employment of in excess of 4,000 people, which includes all the emergency operational center, the police department, as well as the fire department. So it's a big responsibility on the day-to-day activity here in the city of Bridgeport, which I'm truly, truly blessed and proud to do, because, you know, when I go into work and the decision that I make or the meetings that I attend, those decisions are part of my everyday life, because I leave City Hall, I become a resident, I become a father, I become a taxpayer. So I watch the streets that I drive, I see the impact that we're making, and what I do, believe it or not, when I'm not working, I have a notepad in my car that I take notes on what I see, and on Monday when I go back, I communicate to the appropriate department and what needs to be fixed, And sometime right there on the spot, I make phone calls to get here, let's change this, let's move this. Because as I say, it's something that's impacted my life, my kids' life, and it's my community that I love. So, you know, Bridgeport has been great to me. So it's the least I could do.
You know, how much does Bridgeport mean to you? When you think about the city where we grew up in, coming from where we come from, and being where you are now, how much does Bridgeport mean to you as an individual, as a person?
Bridgeport's home. I mean, whether I'm in the east side or I'm in the east end or I'm in the hollow or I go to Black Rock, everything that I see I could relate. I could have a direct correlation, whether from childhood to the current situation or the life that I lead today. It's a place where my kids grew up. It's a place where it gave me that educational opportunity, gave me my first paycheck, my first dollar. It's where I found my first girlfriend, by the way.
All right, so let's pause here. Who's the first girlfriend? I just need to know that.
That's not a good question, right? Man, can we take a break? Man. Well, I think my first crush was in 5th grade. Spanish girl back in the hollow there, but you know, which will remain nameless, but goes way back.
And let's make it clear, you're Cape Verdean?
I'm Cape Verdean. Queria falar boa tarde para todos os meus amigos cabo-verdianos que estão hoje show hoje. Muito obrigado sempre por seus apoios. But the good thing is que também eu posso falar espanhol.
Okay, now he's gonna start showing off. We know
Mais
you.
aussi, je peux parler français e também posso falar português.
And we know you was it French? You speak French also, don't you?
Oui, un peu. Right. So the correlation, the language, when you talk about Europe, it's somewhat very similar. I think when you look at Cape Verde, it was an independent country colonized by Portugal, and we gained our independence in 1975. You know, the Portuguese language at home, they spoke Creole, which is a dialect really, where because Cape Verde was more of a slave country, as a trade-off. So, you know, the slaves have their own dialect to separate themselves from the masters. And I think, and once it became a country in 1975, the official language was Portugal, but you maintain the Creole language. So, yes, I'm 100% Cape Verde.
So, my next question for you, John, is how important is it for a person to utilize the power of being able to vote? How important is that to get out there and vote and make a difference in your community?
Well, everything we do is about politics. Indirectly, it's about the vote. Whether you talk about the quality of education for your kids, where you talk about how dirty your streets are, you talk about the issue with crime, you talk about economic impact in your community. Everything that we do is based on a vote. We have a population of about 147,000 residents, of which you have, in some instances, very low turnout vote. So everyone has to really take the advantage and register to vote, because you can't complain and sit on the sideline, but you want everything positive to impact your neighborhood. So whether you're involved in your neighborhood revitalization community, whether it's in your city council, whether it's in your state representative or state senate, whether it's in your town committee, whether it's in your mayor, whatever opportunity you can, your strength and your voice is counted only through your vote. And when you vote, the results can be seen and can be felt, because the greater the number, the greater the turnout, the more voice we unify and say that's who we want to represent us, regardless what elected office you're trying to run for. So I would definitely encourage everyone that's possible to register to vote. I know many of the Cape Verdeans, as soon as they get their citizenship, I make sure they register to vote. And even when they're there signing that petition, they check that box to become a registered voter.
Excellent, excellent. Well, John, really quick, we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back and pick up where we just left off at, all right? We got to pay some bills, man, so I got to take a break, all right? So listen, man, you guys that are watching right now live via Facebook, I'm going to encourage you to stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Keep that that window open on your page. And if you haven't shared this broadcast yet, I'm going to ask you to kindly press that share button and share this broadcast onto your timeline. Again, Jason Rodriguez, Super Elite Entertainment Studio with Mr. John Gomes. We'll be right back momentarily.
Did you know that as a defendant, you have a right to bail? The 8th and 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution guarantee this. This is something that a reliable, licensed bail bondsman should know. The team at Aces Bail Bonds knows this and much more. For fast, reliable bail bond service, call Aces Bail Bonds now.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Super Elite Entertainment Studio. And it's your host, Jason Rodriguez, and I'm back here in the studio with a really good friend of mine, the Chief Administrative Operating Officer. I probably just quoted that all wrong, but you know who he is already. I'm here with Mr. John Gomes.
Yes, sir. How we doing? We doing
all
good?
Right, and we're back, man. We're back. We're back, John. So we've been talking about a lot of different things tonight, man. And we've been talking about your life growing up in the city of Bridgeport. We've been talking about your career, your educational status, your current status with the city of Bridgeport, the businesses that you have had. You owned the Subway. You owned Red Rooster in the city of Bridgeport, which was a landmark. I know you sold it. You sold it. It's a whole different name now, but it's somewhat still there. But that was a great, amazing establishment that you put in the city of Bridgeport that drew a lot of people there to eat on a daily basis. So you're a great entrepreneur. You're a visionary. You're everything, man. You just got it going on, bro.
I'm just trying to survive, man. Look, I'm at this show, so this is great.
Yeah. Listen, I thank you for coming down to the show and being a part of
the invitation, man.
What we have going on here. And so continuing on with the conversation we were having. Like I said, our goal is to give out motivation and encouragement to the people that are watching. That's why we set up the studio. That's why we set up this show, so that we can encourage people out in the general public to let them know that, you know what, if John is doing it, if I'm doing it, then
we could do it.
Yeah, then, I can do it also.
Yes, you can.
I can do it also.
I totally agree. All of us are product of our environment. We grew up in Bridgeport. We grew up in what you said, the hood. We still in the hood. We go to the hood and be with our people. And as I said, in the initial, is that America's a land of opportunity. And if you believe and you have your set goals, just embrace the opportunity and just go forward. You're always going to have the negativity. Everything is not going to go smooth as expected, but that's the part of the battle. And it's not about the failures. The failures are what we turn into successes. Abraham Lincoln, I believe he ran for president 7 times or 8 times before he was elected. So he didn't give up. There's many things that we could look at, many people that have inspired us in our lives, and because of them we exist today. Because of them we have a foundation that's stronger. But in order for us to build on what they have, we have to be part of the future. And if you give up, it's not going to happen. So heads up to the finish, see it through.
So what are the keys of success that you've been able to utilize in your own personal life in order to succeed?
I mean, I think the first thing, it starts with motivation. I think the opportunity or the successes you may have in front of you will not come unless you're motivated to go and get it. I think that's the first thing. Once you're motivated, you have the self-belief, and with that, you have your set plan. You just go for it. Obviously, you have to do research and look as to where you want to go, how you want to go there, and never be afraid of asking questions. The worst thing is for people to say, I should have. I often say I did. I don't look at the failures. I look at the trials that I went through, the successes I had because I did that. And today I'm a better man for everything I did, whether my decisions were good or bad in the past. I learned how to differentiate from one to the other. So I pick the positive out of one and move forward. The ones that I made bad, I change with the decision I tried to make in the past. I mean, today it's about looking at things and look at rationalization, looking at the process and saying, okay, and take the emotion out. That's one thing I try to do very, very, very much, is try to take emotion out of my decision process, because in some time in life you make decisions that you don't want to do, but they have to be done. So I think if you look at your path, your focus, your direction, and the motivation, you're good.
So it seems like a couple of people that are watching are saying that they can't hear you.
People usually say I'm loud enough, so I'm surprised that
So let's
I speak louder.
You know what? Let's check in with the people that are watching on Facebook right now. We got a couple of people, John, quite a few people saying that they can't hear us. I'm not sure why, because it seems like
check in 1 2. Can you hear me?
I mean, the mics are working pretty fine right now. We had a couple of people are watching. Hey, everybody. Hey, Jay. Hey, I want to give a shout out to Diana Rosado, who's watching. We also want to give a shout out to Tony Santos. Tony, thank you for letting us know that John sounds kind of low on the microphone. Maybe John needs to speak up and it's not the microphone.
Tony, what's going on?
Who's Tony? You know him?
Yeah, I know Tony. I believe if that's the right Tony, that's the president of the Caribbean Association today.
Oh, okay.
That's the right person.
We got a couple of other people on the check-in, man. We also got Anthony Hulse, who said, "What's up, brother?" And a whole bunch of people checking in, and quite a few people are watching, man. But
go ahead, you can ask any question you want. Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Listen, John is an open book, and he's telling you right now that you can ask any question you want. So, John. So the thing is, there's a lot of people who may have the desire to advance themselves, to succeed. People have dreams, but the question is, how do you put it into action? How do you pursue and chase and attain that dream?
I mean, I believe that if you have the motivation, you have the vision, and you're focused where you want to go, things around you, the good and the bad, will tell you which way to go. And I think that's the key. I mean, as I said, the opportunities are there. You have to know where they're at, and you have to go out and just get them. I mean, that's my thought process. Because as I said, we've been talking, and if you look at the negative part, I can't do it, I can't, you won't. Just go and do what you have to do. And at the end of the day, if you set yourself up and you fell short or you fall short, then the thing is, how do I take the result from where I came short and build on it and get to the next point?
Yeah.
I mean, that's, listen, I came to this country without my moms, without my pops. Mm-hmm. I didn't know a word of English. Even today, I stutter a little bit,
And you speak 5 languages right now.
I mean, and I came here. The opportunity presented itself. Went to the school system in Bridgeport. I succeeded academically. I wanted to go further. I looked into the opportunity with college, and I pursued. And to one day, I became a citizen of the United States, and I was able to bring my mother, I was able to bring my father, and all the siblings, and create a life better for them and those that were with them. So there, the opportunity are endless. I mean, just go and get yours.
So, how important is it to take risk? I mean, stepping out of the unknown. I mean, stepping out of your comfort zone into the unknown. How important is it for you to take a risk? Because listen, it's one thing for you to have a dream and a desire.
But life is a risk. We get up every day. It's a risk. It's a matter of choices where you want to go. You want to go forward. You want to go backward. You want to stay where you at. You look at some of these companies. JCPenney started in the garage. Amazon, look at how it started. Walmart didn't become what it became overnight. Firestone. Look at some of these big corporations that exist today. It's about a dream. It's about a vision. It's about a risk. It's about saying, you know what, I'm going to go forward with it. I'll give you an example. Last year, or 4 years ago, 3 years ago, we took on a challenge to change the direction politically in the city of Bridgeport. We had those that believed that, along with Mayor Ganem and the team that we built, we could have made a difference and moved forward. And we went forward aggressively, regardless of the naysayers. And today we sit in the position where we're at because of our focus, our ambition, and how goal-oriented the whole team was. And we believe that we could do things differently for Bridgeport.
So in the course of your action, throughout the process of your time, you've had to deal with, like you said, a lot of negativity, a lot of people speaking. Because listen, I've opened the Connecticut Post and I've seen your name in there.
Listen,
with your name being bashed.
If they're not talking about you, then you're not doing something right. So listen, they could talk all about me. As long as don't touch me, give me my distance, and I maintain my self-respect and integrity, and I feel what I'm doing is positive, and I could go home, look myself in the mirror and say I did it because I believe in what I was doing, and it impacts those around me in a positive way. I can have all the haters in the world.
And that's and case closed. But that's I like the way you presented that. But the thing is that, and it's just not, you, John, the politician, the person that's involved in politics in the city of Bridgeport, but we all deal with negative conflict. We all deal with naysayers, and we all deal with people who don't want us to succeed. Because when you ain't doing nothing, ain't no one got nothing to say about you.
But I think also what I've come to learn is that when you're confronted with certain people that are haters, it's often out of ignorance. It's their lack of knowledge, it's their lack of understanding, it's sometimes their lack of focus. And I often find that instead of being confrontational, it's more to be assertive in the sense of conversation. To first, as you said in the beginning, listen to what they're saying. Don't interrupt. Listen to what they're saying. And once you listen to what they're saying, then explain to them your perception. And I think between the two, somehow there'll be a medium that both of you will arrive at, as long as there's respect on both sides. But I think whether people that disagree with you, dislike you, there's always going to be that. But I think the process is that you listen, you speak, and you agree. And a positive outtake that's going to impact whatever the objective in front is, whether it's political, whether it's social, whether it's educational, or whether it's economic, whatever it is. But I think the key part is just, I think sometimes as human beings, often we react instead of sitting back and kind of listening. When you listen, you speak, and often you agree to a solution that makes sense. And I practice that. I've learned that. And when I make the mistake where I put that emotion that I talked about, I take it out and I kind of rationalize and speak. You find that the difference is often not a difference. It's just the process that you're going through that may be distinct in where you're trying to go to the same ending.
So, and I know we're a bit all over the place with the questions and the things that we're touching on, but the purpose is to, like I said in the beginning, to bring some inspiration, some encouragement to the people that are watching. So with that said, when you were coming up, how important was it for you to have your family backing you up and supporting you in your endeavors? How important was it for your family to believe in you? Because there's a lot of people out there watching who have a desire to do something, but they don't have the support that they need.
Well, I think that, coming from a culturally diverse family, and if you have people in your family, perhaps those that are, the head of your household, sometimes they don't speak English, they don't understand the culture, they don't understand the impact, they've been grown a certain way. I think the important part is to kind of show them the impact that it can have. I think back then it was about, you come in, you growing up, and then you got to go to work after high school. So in my family per se, going to college, I was really I think back then, even within the Cape Verdean community, I was one of the few to go to college. So it's not like today where it's, you go to college immediately. But I think you take that dream, you go forward, and then people begin to see the result, they embrace it. I think when you come from a family that culturally it's a little bit different, it might be a little harder to say, I'm going to go to college, or I'm going to do something that's different than what tradition has been. And I think over time it'll be embraced. And that's simply because they don't know what you see. Because remember, you're coming to a place, a country that's completely different from where they grew up. Your aspirations, your goals are different. And at that time when I was growing up, it was a little bit different. And today, when you look at Bridgeport, you look at the graduation rate, you look at the kids that are going to different schools, whether trade or college, and graduating from there. It's a tremendous number when you compare 5, 10, or 15 years ago. Even if we just talk about within the Cape Verdean community. Now it's like, you graduate from high school, you're going to college. And then from there, you choose other path. But it's relative to the time where we are today. So
yeah. What direction do you see the city of Bridgeport going in? You being one of the most influential individuals that's overseeing the city alongside the mayor of the city, which is Joe Ganem.
Right.
What direction do you see the city of Bridgeport going in?
I think Bridgeport in the next 3 to 7 years is going to be incredible in a sense that from an economic standpoint, the infrastructure is being built tremendously. There is currently, I would say, excluding Still Point, which is a $4 billion project in itself, there's over, I believe, almost $9 billion when you look around, from the Majestic Theater that's going to be happening downtown to the amphitheater. You're looking at Seaside Park, some of the infrastructure there, the gateway into on Park Avenue. You look at some of the upgrades that's doing to the roadways. Bridgeport has 17 miles of waterfront, speedboat, ferry going to New York. So there's a tremendous opportunity for Bridgeport to grow, and we'll continue to push it in that direction. And we just finished building, I believe, Hugo Bassett will be the next high school to be renovated, adding an additional. So we're trying to always focus on the education, our kids, our youth, and trying to bring innovative new industry within Bridgeport. So when you look at Bridgeport for the next 3 to 7 years, I think the impact is going to be tremendous when you talk about from an economic standpoint, from an investment standpoint. I think when you do those things, then there's an effect on the quality of life. When you talk about education, you talk about crime, you talk about other investment that you make within the different departments within the city.
You being an entrepreneur and having had businesses in the city of Bridgeport, do you still believe that the city of Bridgeport is a good place for you to establish your business?
Oh, without a doubt. I would definitely encourage any and everybody that's looking for an investment opportunity to look at Bridgeport. Obviously, they could contact City Hall and looking for some investment opportunity that's coming up. We are going to transcend a lot of things that haven't happened, that have been dormant for decades in the city of Bridgeport. some of those projects that I just mentioned, we're not talking about millions, or we're talking about hundreds of millions to billions of dollars in project that's going on. You know, we have a strong emphasis on blight. We changed the ordinance on absentee landlord, some of the blight issues that we're confronting. There's an initiative going forward with some sidewalk projects to get that revitalized. We're investing in parks for our kids, Seaside Park itself, Bearsea, and so on. So I would definitely encourage any and every opportunity that someone has and they're looking to build a niche or build an industry, to definitely seek out the Bridgeport, city of Bridgeport.
So an individual like me, let's say, who has never owned a business, and I'm looking for a location, and I decide, okay, Bridgeport might be the place.
Right.
Is there anything that the city of Bridgeport can offer a person who has never owned a business but wants to get established and started? Is there anything that the city can help me with in order to get myself established?
Well, I think the first thing is that if you're looking to establish a business, you have to have some type of vision, an idea of what you want. Often what we do is we refer many people who come. There's two types. One of the types is, as you said, someone who has an idea that want to invest, but how? And there's another one that comes already with a resume and credentials as far as what they have done in the past. Those that come that simply want to start an idea, we have the Minority Business Enterprise Department, which works with various consultants in the community and also financial institution, where the first thing you have to put a business plan together.
Okay.
You know, they assist you in putting the business plan together. Once you have built that business plan, then we look at the fit, the niche, as far as which avenue as far as the financial support to back your business. And once you have that, then you go to the next step, which is obviously you want to find the physical location. We have economic development, which have an array of relationship, not only with perhaps some city-owned property, although we don't have many at this time, but we also have relationship with many real estate agencies and things that are available in the market. So we look at that component and say, okay, how do we put that together to make it a dream a reality? Because one of the things we're trying to do is we're trying to definitely increase our business base. By increasing our business base, then what we do, we decrease our tax base. And like, you know, a resident of Bridgeport, we all understand that our taxes are high. So the question is, how do we build that infrastructure to reduce the burden of the taxes that's mostly felt on the homeowners such as myself and those that live in Bridgeport?
So the important thing to take out of this tonight is that there's opportunity out there for anyone that wants it.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, you see me in the street, you see me in City Hall, just, you know, give me a call or come in and I'll definitely guide you to whatever I can. City Hall is an open public building where you could go in and ask to speak perhaps with Economic Development Office, or again, small minority business that kind of give you a direction. But I think many that are under our mayor, Joe Gannon, we're pretty much open and reachable wherever we're at. And as someone that resides and is part of Bridgeport, I look forward to help the next person get up, and whatever I could do, I'm always willing to build that relationship, because you're from the community of Bridgeport. You know everyone that could do something, you know, so you kind of guide them through the process. So without a doubt.
So let's talk about, momentarily, let's talk about the jobs that the city of Bridgeport has to offer. For example, I've seen that they were currently hiring firemen.
Correct.
The police department. There's so many different departments.
Yeah. I mean,
within the city.
The city of Bridgeport, we have 19 divisions and 41 subdivisions. So a total, under my responsibility, we have about 60 divisions altogether, both subdivision and divisions. And as you mentioned, the recruitment process, let's talk first both for the public safety sector. When you look at the police and look at the firemen, you know, one of the campaign promises that we made 3 years ago was to hire in excess of 100 officers.
Yep.
And we have kept up with that, and we continue to push. We just had we're actually finishing the last process of the next list to be requested for the next class. So that will push in excess of 100 under this administration. And with this list, we will continue to have new one, because obviously you understand that retirement process and all of that with the older ones. So we have a continued investment going there. The fire department is going through a very intense process of recruitment, especially within the female minority base.
Wow.
And the next class will be set sometime, I would say, August of this year to go forward with the fire. And at the end of October here, we will put another class on for the police department. And what we're trying to do different from the past is that in the past, there was a floodgate. You know, for 8-9 years, there'll be no class, and all of a sudden there'll be this huge class. But what we're trying to do is do it gradually and keep a list active. So you pull gradually off that list, whether it's 5, let's say 7, 10 people. You don't have to wait to need 30 or 40 to put a class on. And that's something that we're trying to do very, very hard. And the other part with that is that, you know, through the ordinances, City of Bridgeport residents have a 15-point advantage over non-residents. And, you know, that's a big plus when you look just the score itself. So that means when you take the test, you have a 15-point advantage over anyone else because you're a resident of Bridgeport.
Wow, that's awesome.
So, I mean, I would definitely encourage anyone that's interested in looking at the law enforcement or any public safety sector, again, to contact City Hall or the fire department. I think if you go on the city website, on the City of Bridgeport website, you will find links to both, and especially the fire, because right now they're actually taking registration to go to Hartford to have their CPAP exam and then to qualify for the next test coming up.
So let's talk about growth within the city. Are we actually going to actually see they were talking about MGM Grand, talking about the amphitheater, which I believe is currently under construction.
No.
I mean, are we actually going to see
progress?
all these things?
Well, that's one of the things. I think, you put the shovel in the ground, and it takes time for some of these projects to actually come to light, because legally from the what you do in the background, trying to do all the paperwork involved, getting in front of city council, do some environmental things, and it takes time. But yes, the amphitheater, I believe, will be done very shortly. You're looking at the Majestic Theater downtown, who's going through some environmental process, and hopefully in the next few start putting shovel in the ground. You look at the PSNG power plant that's being converted from coal to natural energy within the 5 years. 5 years to demolish the existing one, but the other one is if you come off the highway, you can see it's up. In the next month or so, the main house will be open at Still Point. You see some docks already being created. There's a if you want to call it a harbor house, where there's going to be a restaurant on the bottom with the rest on top.
Okay.
So there's project lined up, and when you talk about MGM, I think when you look at the process where it's at right now, it's the longest it's been alive. When you look in Hartford, we have a strong delegation that's pushing for it. It will have a tremendous impact that, obviously in the economy and the tax base. So we're all hoping for the best. We'll keep pushing, but the thing is that we're just not depending on the casino coming. As I said, there's all these projects coming on and continue to develop, and within I would say, summer, you're going to see the summertime of this year, and within the next 3, 5, 7 years, there's going to be some significant infrastructure, cranes in the air, and things that's really going to be built. And I believe in that. I'm just not here just saying it because I see it, I work with it, and I know it's happening.
I mean, the amphitheater, the Majestic being rebuilt, all these different ideas and these different businesses that the city's looking to bring would be such a great opportunity for advancement for individuals who need a job.
Right.
I mean, I think that would be an outstanding thing for the city to bring in.
No, without a doubt. I think when you look at, the casino, for example, depending where it goes to, you're talking about 7,000 jobs just in that one area. You're not even talking about the amphitheater and the jobs that it will have, not only doing the construction part as it is right now, but also a consistent as far as employment. And then you still have the arena that's there creating entertainment and bringing different venues, not only athletic, but also from entertainment perspective, City of Bridgeport. So, you know, there's tons of things happening.
So, in regards to the amphitheater, which I believe is already in the works,
Yeah, it's pretty much.
I mean, what can we expect, man? I mean, some big, major events coming down to the city?
Well, Live Nation. I mean, that's all I could say right now because they're
So
the
it's
one.
gonna be big.
It's gonna be big. I mean, you're gonna have some top of the line 8 artists visiting our city of Bridgeport and performing, and in turn, all of that is gonna bring other cities to bring their residents to partake in the entertainment, which brings a positive impact economically to the downtown businesses. And you know, so without a doubt, it's definitely happening. I want to say June, but I don't have the exact date. But without a doubt, if you drive right there off of 95, you can see everything that's happening right in the amphitheater itself.
Excellent, man, excellent. Well, for you guys that are watching, I have Mr. John Gomes from the City of Bridgeport here in the Super League Entertainment Studio, and we've been having a good time for almost just about an hour, more or less, and we've been talking about a whole bunch of variety of different things. You growing up in the City of Bridgeport and the businesses that you have established in the city, and your current role, your current job within City Hall, and working, you know, side by side with the mayor. And
No, we're trying. Bridgeport first.
So, before we start winding down, John, is there anything that you would like to say to all the individuals or your fans? Because you got some fans, man. Is there anything you would like to say to the people that are watching right now?
No, I mean, the one thing I would say is that when I sit here and talk to you and I tell you these different things, I'm not trying to talk to you politically. I'm just not just saying things for saying. As I said from the initial phase, working in City Hall gives me an opportunity to be part of the difference because I live that difference in the city. And, you know, we touched on a lot of things, and one of the things is about the voting. It's about getting Bridgeporters to understand the power they have when they vote and the power to hold their elected officials accountable, whether they like or don't like, or whether they have a vision for things to be different. So one thing I would tell the residents of Bridgeport is that you have 147,000 residents in the city of Bridgeport, and 90% don't show up on the primary.
Wow.
And 22%, 21% will show up in the Black Rock or the North End. So when you look at the population of Bridgeport, and you look at the power, when you look at the minority base, which accounts for 70% of the population, we have the power. And what I will tell them is to use that power and use it through vote. Because if you're complaining about the quality of education that your kids have or don't have, or if you're looking at the streets, or if you're looking at any aspect of the city, the difference starts with you. I mean, I encourage my kids, as soon as they're 18, they're registered to vote. And I make sure they vote. Because I can't complain if I'm not being part of what I see as wrong.
And that's the key. A lot of people complain. A lot of people have negative things to say about the city. But the question is, what are you doing to make a difference? You got to get out and vote.
Get out and vote. Get out and vote.
Excellent, John. Well, listen, man. We're starting to wind down. And I got to hit you off with a couple of what I call the shotgun questions. All right? You ready for those?
Okay.
It could be fun. They're usually fun. Some people get stuck doing them. They're simple questions. They're simple questions, but I think you're gonna do well at these. All right? I think I have about 13 of them.
Hey! So does that mean I answer them quick and keep them brief? What do we do?
However you feel is best.
Okay.
However you feel is best. All right?
Whew.
Here we go. Shotgun questions. Super League Entertainment Studio with John Gomes. Shotgun questions. Here we go.
Let's go.
John, what's your favorite song?
My favorite song. Man, I have a bunch, but I like this Cape Verdean artist. His name is Zé Delgado. I like his song. I like Nelson Freitas. They have a bunch of songs. So
Can you sing one of them?
Nah, I'm bad. But I don't have a preferred song. I go from, some people they listen. Sometimes I listen to a little rap and they look at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, I like that song. You know?
Come on,
But
man.
then I like my Joe and so but Marvin Gaye. So I mean, I go back and forth.
Okay. Next question. What's your favorite movie?
Woman in Red.
Okay.
Some,
Okay.
some of the people are like, what?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Hey, it goes.
What are you trying to say? Is that you like Woman in Red?
I like the storyline because it showed that everything's possible in life,
Yeah.
and it was a sense of humbleness, humility, and you set your goal and you go. There's other movies I like, but for some reason that left an impact on me, and I watched it.
Okay. Your favorite food?
For the Cape Verdeans, I would say cachupa, which is a Cape Verdean dish. But I'm a meatball.
Oh,
I'm
man.
a meatball and pasta guy, but I like my arroz con gandul and some pernil.
You know, the reason why I'm laughing when you say cachupa is because I discovered what a cachupa is a couple of weeks ago when I had another Cape Verdean brother here who's a professional boxer,
Shair.
Jair Ramos.
He brought some
And,
cachupa.
when he said cachupa, he caught me off guard. I was like, what the hell is that?
Nah, he said cachupa. See? Cape Verdeans are consistency, right?
All right. What's your favorite car?
I'm an SUV type of guy. So, I like the Range Rovers.
Okay.
I like them simply in the snow. I just love them riding them in the snow.
So you have big taste. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah,
Big
I mean,
taste.
I love my, yeah. I like antiques. I like antiques.
Oh, you do?
I like antique cars.
Okay.
Yeah.
I probably can answer this question for you, but what's your favorite sport?
Soccer, I would
course.
say number one, and then I would probably say basketball,
Okay.
and then football. Yeah, I would.
Soccer?
Yeah, soccer.
You like Ronaldo?
Nah, my nephews might be listening, so I can't answer that question because they have their. It's always between Messi, Ronaldo, and I'll stay away from that one.
So, since we're on that subject, who do you think is the greatest between the two? Messi or Ronaldo? Which two? Which are the two?
Again, I have to go home after this, so I might. Well, they both have their differences in time of when they did well to succeed. Obviously, look at some of the things Ronaldo has done. It's amazing, but yeah, you can't stay away from Messi and some of the other players. So, but most of the people in Bridgeport, they say Ronaldo.
Okay.
Ronaldo. So I'm like,
Yeah, that's probably the Portuguese population of Bridgeport that says that, right?
Yes, the other day they were playing. It was like,
What's the favorite thing you like to read?
It's a cross between history, going back to reading Amilcar Cabral or Che Guevara or things like that, or to reading books about Warren Buffett and some of the people that have obtained, have become an icon in their own industry, and not just understanding how 20, 30, 35 years ago, 40 years, they started with an idea and how it kind of blew up from there.
Yeah.
And just trying to take their philosophy and their approach as to what they did and how they did it, and transcend that to today's world. And more importantly, what do they see coming down the road? So I have my collection is a mix. I really like Dale Carnegie as well, so I read all his
Good stuff.
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
stuff. The favorite thing you like to do?
Smoke a cigar.
You know what? I was gonna say that. I was hoping you would say that because
For me, there are times where I need to be alone. I put some perhaps Andre Bocelli or something on the side, and a nice glass of cognac with my cigar, I'm good to go.
You good to go?
I'm good to go.
I respect that.
I'm good to go.
What kind of cigars you smoking? Cubans?
um,
I know you're not
H.
smoking no
Upman.
Cuban.
Cubans are good.
Yeah.
You know, it depends on the quality, the mood, the taste. There's a strong to, mild taste. It depends on the day, how much you want to feel the body of the cigar.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your favorite word? Your favorite word?
Oh man. I it's more of a phrase. Often, how you doing? Living the life of a black man. I often say that to some people, and they're like, "You're not black." So I just say that to kind of get things going.
Uh-huh.
But that's really, that's really what I say to most people when they say what's going on. It just gets them going, thinking. It gets a conversation piece.
Besides your profession that you're in right now, what would you like to? If it wasn't this, what else would it be?
International. I was working with Nestle in the foreign trade division, and my job was in charge of 7 countries. And because family and stability, it was tough, so I had to give that up and come back and really have my kids around their family. And fortunate enough, things went the way they went. But if, let's say, another opportunity was to come, I would really love to get involved in the international arena, looking at new markets, expanding product, developing new products, or working with existing products within the consumer sector. I think that's.
And let's make it clear that when you were with Nestle, you were overseeing an empire of over, I believe it was 63.
At that time, it was 63, 66, somewhere around there, as far as $1 million. But obviously, that climbed up based on what you did. But the thing with that is that, in the countries that you visit, every country was unique. It was different, and every marketing experience, every marketing strategy had to tailor that specific country, because one simple thing could take you away from your goal because a culture difference, a culture word. So you had to be very tactical, and you had to be very strategic as to what you did and how you did it. So.
If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say to you when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Just welcome. I think the opportunity He gave to me already. I think it's a matter of what I did with it. So it's just welcome. And then to see the loved ones that I've lost over the time kind of be behind them. Welcoming me.
And the last question.
Yeah.
As you can see, we're surrounded by boxing paraphernalia. We definitely support boxing in this studio. Who's your favorite boxer?
Sugar Ray. I grew up watching Sugar Ray.
Sugar Ray Leonard.
Leonard, yeah.
Okay.
I grew up him with Duran and Hagler and all these guys. I'm going way back, but yeah, he was one of my favorites.
Excellent.
Growing
man.
up, and then I watched the movie, but I really liked him.
Excellent, John.
Yeah.
Well, before we go, is there anything else that you want to leave with the individuals that are watching? That's your camera right there, right in front of you. If there's anything that you want to say to the individuals watching, there's quite a few people watching. There's a lot of comments that people have left, and we're going to refer to those comments momentarily. But actually, let's look at them right now before you respond. But a lot of people said on here that you have evolved into a great leader. The person that said that is Maria Pires.
Miss Speedish, how we doing? She's a go-getter.
Benny Gonzalez, I want to know when John Gomes is running for mayor of Bridgeport again.
Well, all I can say is that we have a great mayor now. I'm learning from him, and often you follow those that lead you, and if the opportunity comes, we will take that challenge when it presents itself.
Excellent, man. Jeanette Haran.
Hey, Jeanette.
She's saying John is doing a great job. I guess you were doing a great job during the interview, John. A couple of people was telling you.
That's our local city councilwoman. So.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh.
Saran.
Okay.
She's up
Well,
in the north end there.
truly appreciate you tuning in, Jeanette. Also, Michael Kelly, John Gomes has always been a approachable individual who will listen to you and do his best to help. And then he concluded that statement with the word solid, meaning you're solid.
Well, I would like to say that he's solid himself because he's an example what a great educator can be. Because whenever you impact a kid's life from their early childhood and they go to college and they mention you and they have you in their thoughts, that meant you did a great job. And he was a teacher at Thomas Hooker for my daughter.
I went there.
He's an awesome guy, a motivation, and someone that contributes positively to the youth of Bridgeport.
Excellent, man. Another person on here, Astride Martin Soares.
Yep.
Great job, John. You're making the Cape Verdeans in the city of Bridgeport proud of you.
Well, a great person who challenged, overcame any obstacle, and achieves great success within the medical field. So she makes us proud from the Cape Verdean perspective.
Wow. And just a bunch of other people on here, including my sister Sonia, saying
Arizona in the house.
saying, hi, John, and great job. Terry Ramos saying, hi, John.
Yes.
Not sure if you know who she is.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. And Terry Ramos says she just shared the broadcast. So truly appreciate you sharing the broadcast,
Thank you
Terry.
very much.
And it says here, also from Terry Ramos, John should run for mayor of Bridgeport again.
Well, I defer that question to my last answer.
Hey, I'm just reading what the people are saying that are watching right now.
Listen, as I said, I'm humbled for the comments and the motivation. What I try to do right now is every day go in and do the best I can with the responsibility and the job that I have in front of me. But one thing about life, you have to have aspirations, you have to have goals, and you always have to be an aggressor as far as what we talk about, motivation and hustle. So, those words that are being said, I take them with me today, and we continue to build for the future because it's indeed inspiring. If we came this far, we have a lot and a long way to go.
Excellent,
to build
man.
it.
One more person. We're gonna keep,
Oh, that's fine.
I mean, it's a good thing for us to let the viewers know that we're aware of them watching and that we're aware of the questions or the comments that they're leaving for us. So
I appreciate it.
We got another person out here named Doris Latour,
Yes.
and basically she's just telling you, good job, John. You're doing a great job tonight.
Does a great job in supporting the housing demand within the city of Bridgeport, and at Bridgeport Neighborhood Trust, they do a tremendous job in welcoming everybody that come through the door and making sure they become homeowners when they leave.
Excellent, man. So, that's pretty much it with all the comments so far. Oh, someone wrote on here when I asked you the question between Messi and
I told you.
And
That's a problem.
Ronaldo. Someone said Messi.
Yeah, no, like I said, I have my godsons, and they might be watching, so I got to be careful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent, man. Well, John.
No, I truly appreciate the opportunity. Like I said, congratulations on what you've done. Much success. I know there'll be a lot more.
Thank
I
you,
know
thank
people, they see what's happening in front of the cameras. There's a lot of hard work, vision, idea that takes to make this a reality. I know you talk about bringing people in to talk about inspiration and motivation for those that came from what we call the hood. And without a doubt, you're an example of that. And always know the city of Bridgeport, our people are always there for you. Whenever you call, we're going to come out and be like, what's up? We're there for you, baby.
Excellent, man. I truly appreciate that, man. And as I spoke to you earlier about big things coming, and
It's coming.
and it's going to be taking place within the city of Bridgeport sooner than later. So,
Yeah.
yeah. We're gonna keep that on the down low, but you best better believe that I'm going to be knocking on your door and calling out to you,
I
man.
appreciate that, no problem.
And
Listen, for those that have young ones, we're coming to the summer. City of Bridgeport offer great opportunity not only from the Lighthouse program, Conservation Corps, recreational through the parks facility for youth employment. The mayor himself has put out of the fund in the previous years over $250,000 to look at employing our youth. So for those that are interested, I would definitely say contact the City of Bridgeport. Make sure that every youth that's not in school in the summer, they have something to maintain or keep them occupied. There's different camps that we offer, different things to kind of transcend the mindset and make sure that our future reflect that of our community, and the youth are the most important thing when you look at where we're going to go.
absolutely. And John, with that said, I truly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for having the opportunity to interview you tonight, man. I thank you for your willingness to come up here and to just lay yourself out in front of everyone that's watching live on Facebook right now, and to disclose, stuff about yourself that people didn't even know.
I appreciate, like I said, for me, this was a conversation because it's a friend to a friend, and it's to our people. It's to the difference that we can make collectively. So what I would say, it's, when we look across, I don't think we need to look at race. We don't need to look whether I'm Cape Verdean, Hispanic, Portuguese, whatever. I think at the end of the day, we're all human. We're all one residents of Bridgeport, and only together can we move forward and make the difference and the impact that needs citywide. So,
Excellent, man. Again,
my pleasure,
thank you,
baby.
brother.
Thank you
Truly,
very much,
truly
sir.
great honor, man, to be able to have you here in the studio. And I just want to thank each and every one of you that are still standing by there live with us via Facebook Live. Listen, I truly appreciate all of you guys for sticking it out. I mean, we could see that, all of you guys that were watching, the number of viewers stood high, and most of you guys stuck it out with us all the way up until the end. And we've been going for quite some time now. So I truly appreciate you guys. And the reason why we're here is so that we can bring you some hope, some inspiration, some encouragement. And, listen, we're going to keep going hard, and we're going to keep presenting you information and knowledge with every interview that we do. We're going to try to bring to you the best possible candidates, the best possible individuals into the studio, so that we can just keep conducting these interviews, man, and just bringing them to you live every single Tuesday at 7 p.m. from right here in the Super Elite Entertainment Studio. Again, I just want to thank you for tuning in, and I want to thank John Gomes for coming down from the city of Bridgeport and sharing with us, all about himself, his dream, his passion, and his vision. And again, Jason Rodriguez, your host, thanking you for watching. Have a good night, and God bless.